First up is Alyssa Goldman from Madison County. Our first question is, how many pillows do you sleep with?
So I sleep with one pillow, and that's the only number you can sleep with. That's the only correct number for this question. Because if it's more than one pillow, you're like gonna have a really bad posture, and it's gonna be like sitting up. If it's less, you're just like there's no comfort there. So it's only one pillow, only one.
And Alyssa, how old were you when you learned that Santa wasn't real, and how did you find out?
So actually for my 5th grade like vice president like officer thing, I did it like Santa Claus themed, and I dressed up like an elf, and my teacher was the Santa Claus. And when I was doing it, my mother, who was also my 4-H leader, she while I was practicing, she was like, Alyssa, I don't think you should say that. And I'm like, why? And she's like, because Santa Claus isn't real. And I'm like, I know that, Mom. She said, okay. And we just kept on going.
And Alyssa, what 3 things do you think of most during each day?
The 3 things I think of most every day is, so one, my favorite TV show is The Office. So like, I don't know why, but I have this fantasy where like I meet Steve Carell, and so good. My second thing is food. I'm always thinking about food, like every single day, like every like minute. And then my third thing is probably 4-H, because like I do 4-H every single day. So I have to think about what I'm doing tonight or this weekend and stuff like that.
Up next, we have Carter Hewitt from Stevens County. And your first question, Carter, is what is something you are passionate about?
I would say my biggest passion is probably dance, because I train basically 6 days a week for dance. And it's like the biggest thing in my life right now. So, I mean, that'd probably be my biggest passion.
Thank you, Carter. Your next question is, what is your proudest accomplishment?
My proudest accomplishment is probably my last competition I went to, where I received a scholarship for a world's dance pageant in New Jersey. It was a scholarship, but New Jersey's really far away, so I won't be able to attend, but I was really proud of it. I was proud of myself. I was happy to receive it, sorry. But yeah, it's my proudest accomplishment.
Great. And finally, your last question is, where do you see yourself in 10 years?
I see myself in 10 years being a traveling nurse, because, COVID hit, so they need that right now. And nursing is also one of my other passions. Like, I'm in healthcare right now. And yeah, so in 10 years, I see myself being a traveling nurse, traveling the world, just helping others. And that's where I see myself in 10 years.
Great. Thank you, Carter.
And next up, we have Leah Grace Wilson from Elbert County. All right, so Leah Grace, have you ever had a nickname? And if so, what is it?
Nicknames are a really big thing for my family. And when I was little, my grandpa used to call me Tater. So now everybody on my dad's side of the family, and now a lot of people on my mom's side of the family, will call me Tater. And I don't know where the nickname came from. I have a really big love for tater tots, and I have since I was a baby. So maybe that's it. But as long as I can remember, I've been called Tater.
All right. Your next question is, who would you want to play in a movie of your life?
Okay, so if you know me, I'm a little bit more on the awkward side, and one of my favorite people is Drew Barrymore, and I think also I would want her to play me in a movie because she's super awkward too, and she gives off really awkward vibes in all the roles she plays and in real life. And my mom says she gives off very girl next door vibes, and that's what my mom says. She says girl next door. So I think that the role fits just because we're both super clumsy and really awkward. So.
And your final question is, how old were you when you learned Santa wasn't real? And how did you find out?
Okay, so in my family, the rule is you don't believe, you don't receive. And it's not just gifts from Santa you don't receive, it's gifts from the whole family. And it's happened before. So if anybody asks, I'm a 15-year-old, almost 15-year-old that still believes in Santa Claus, because I'm too scared to come up and say to somebody, I don't believe in Santa Claus, because it'll get back to my parents and I will go Christmas without gifts. And Christmas is a lot of times when I get all my clothes and my shoes, and I love clothes and shoes. So.
All right, good job.
All right, next up is Kate Spearing from Oglethorpe County. And Kate, your first question is, who is your hero?
I would have to say my hero is my grandpa. He is the most kind-hearted, courteous, and caring person that I know. And he's also a firefighter. He's been a firefighter for over 50 years now. And it's my dream to go in the fire protection force. And he is just such an inspiration to me. And lately he's been letting me get more involved in the fire department, and I am loving every minute of it.
Awesome. If you could live anywhere, where would it be?
I would live in Italy because my family is Italian, and I love the food, the culture, the weather in some parts of Italy are really nice, and mainly just because of my Italian history.
Cool. So, Kate, your final question is, what's the most interesting thing you can see out of your office or kitchen window?
So, long story short, I show goats, and I have a ton of goats. And my goats, they have sort of what's like a tree house. I call it the goat tower. It's just this really tall, like, goat house on stilts. And out of my kitchen window, you can see the top of the goat house, and you can see all the goats laying inside and sunbathing in the middle of the day. And it's really cute.
Awesome. Thank you, Kate.
Thank you.
Next up is Cam Stevens from Greene County. Cam, what motivates you to work hard?
What motivates me to work hard is the fact that somebody is probably outworking me right now, and the fact that I want to be a better person than I was yesterday.
Nice. Next question is, Cam, if you could share a meal with any 4 individuals, living or dead, who would they be?
All right. So first one probably have to be Napoleon Bonaparte, to see if his actions caused him to have a short man's complex. Second one probably have to be Malcolm X, to see his reaction to the protests and laws changed over the years for oppressing people of color. Number 3 had to be Jeff Bezos, because I just wanted to see how he got the idea of Amazon. And number 4 is probably Kevin Hart, because I think he's just hilarious.
Good answer. All right, Cam. Next question is, what's your favorite fast food chain?
All right. Wild Zaxby's does have better fries. Chick-fil-A, they cannot compare to Chick-fil-A when it comes to chicken, customer service, and drinks. Chick-fil-A just outnumbers them all. So Chick-fil-A.
Up next, we have Aaron Wiggins from Monroe County. And Aaron, your first question is, who is your hero?
Yeah, so my hero is probably my older brother, Austin. He's just a great 4-H'er. I mean, he's mastered twice in beef and turkey Q, which is like really good. He's also a Pantry Pride winner and got to go on TV. So I got to see him on TV. So that was really cool for me. But what he says is, he says his most prideful moment was community service. He made a project called Pantry Loads of Love, and so where you make laundry detergent and you give those in need. So I actually follow that now. So he's probably my hero.
Very good, Aaron. Your second question is, what are your hobbies?
Well, you may have recognized me from my 4-H Kids Teaching Kids video. I like to 3D print, so I can 3D model stuff and print it, and well, that's one of my hobbies. But my other hobbies are public sticking, of course, and unicycling. So, I mean, I can ride this. So that's pretty cool.
Awesome. And your third question, Aaron, is what do you do to keep fit?
Well, I unicycle and pogo stick and farm. So I can ride on this. And I actually was on the 4-H float and was able to ride that for 2.5 hours. So that's cool. I'd like to be able to show you how I keep fit also, if you let me.
Up next, we have Madeline McMurtry from Gilbert County. All right, Madeline, your first question is, aside from necessities, what is one thing you could not go a day without?
Okay, so one thing that I personally couldn't go a day without is music. Music makes up my whole being, if I'm honest. I've done tap, jazz, and ballet for 7 years. I'm currently color guard captain and winter guard. I play the flute, the piccolo, the ukulele, and the guitar. I've been to over 20 concerts and like musical theater events. If I'm in a bad mood, the answer is music. If I'm happy, the answer is music. And it means the world to me, and I couldn't go a day without it.
Great. And your next question is, how old were you when you learned Santa wasn't real? And how did you find out?
So let me tell you, I was an avid believer. I mean, you could not tell me otherwise. I would go to school, I would be like, haha, you're so childish, Santa isn't real. And I was like, no, I will fight you on this one. Santa is real. Like, I mean, it was a big part of my life. You know what I mean? I was an avid believer. And when I was in 4th grade, I lost a tooth. And my mom was usually tooth fairy, but on this particular night, she went to bed early. And so my dad came home from work in his giant work boots and came clomping into my room and yanked my pillow up and got the tooth out and like shoved some money into my pillow. And I 100% woke up, but I laid there and I was like, just act like I was asleep. In the car ride to school the next morning, I was like, Mom, Dad ruined the tooth fairy. I'm so sad. And they were talking about this all day, and he meant to text her. He intended to text her. That was totally his goal. The text message that he sent said, good, now we can tell her about Santa and save a bunch of money. But this text message did not go to her. This text message came to me, the avid believer in the 4th grade. And I was sitting in class and I got a text message and I was like, what? Because I mean, you're not going to tell him he's wrong. I mean, yeah, I was crushed.
Oh man. Okay. And your last question is your glass half full or half empty?
My glass is 100% half full. Even in the worst circumstances, I'm known for being painfully optimistic. It annoys the crap out of my friends, but it helps me get through the day. And I'd so much rather see the world as, the best that it can be and find the best in people.
Great. Thank you, Madeline.
Up next, we have Alyssa from Oconee County. And your first question is, how old were you when you learned Santa wasn't real, and how did you find out?
I was about 9 years old when I found out that Santa wasn't real. And there's actually a funny story behind it. I didn't find it out from my mom. I found it out from my elementary school teacher. I overheard her talking to another kid about how he just hated how he had to pretend that Santa was real for his little siblings. And after that, I still had the small hope that Santa was real just because it's Santa. But what sealed it for me was I was being a nosy little kid and I was snooping around and I actually found my elf on the shelf in a random cabinet. So that put the nail in my coffin.
Yeah, I feel you. Your next question is, would you rather vacation in Hawaii or Alaska, and why?
I personally would rather vacation in Hawaii. Number one, it's warmer weather, and who doesn't love the sun? You also have so many fun things to do in Hawaii. You can go climb a volcano, go swimming in the ocean, visit the black sand beaches, and I just think it would be so much fun. But in Alaska, the only thing you can really do is hang out with the bears. So
yeah, I would probably go to Hawaii too. All right. Your final question is, what is your favorite thing about 4-H?
My favorite thing about 4-H would definitely have to be the memories and the friends that I've made. I've made some lifelong friends through 4-H that I would have never met otherwise, and I just know that they're going to have a lasting impact on my life.
All right. Good job, Alyssa.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Lily Kate Farah from Habersham County. And Lily Kate, your first question is, if you could go back in time, what year would you travel to?
If I could go back in time, I would travel back to the year 2020. No big surprise, right? But more specifically, March, because that was when everything kind of shut down. Everything was kind of scary. I was an 8th grader. I was going to high school. I was scared of what was to come. And I would go back to then and tell myself that it was going to be okay. I'd say, stop worrying, stop bothering yourself about this. Everything's going to work itself out. You're going to find a way through this. You're going to find a way how to work things out.
Totally. Your next question is, how would your friends describe you?
So most of my friends describe me as the mom friend because like I'm always like, do you need something? And are you okay? Stuff like that. They also describe me as dramatic because I'm an actress. So they say, oh, you're so dramatic, Lily Kate. And funny, smart, and happy, go lucky. Like I'm smiling everywhere.
Awesome. And your last question is, what is your favorite quote?
My favorite quote, I have it here with me, is "You're braver than you believe, stronger than you seem, and smarter than you think" by Winnie the Pooh. Because I just like live by that quote because sometimes people can break you down. They can just like break you down really bad. And you're like, what am I going to do? These people make me feel like really bad about myself. But then you have to realize that even though there's people in the world that view negatively of you, there's people who look at you positively. And you've actually made an impact on their life. And so you need to remember that you have your good qualities as well.
That's a great way to look at it. Thank you, Lily Kate.
You.
Up next, we have Lillian Smith from Oconee County. Lillian, if you could live anywhere, where would it be?
I would probably live in New York City just because I really like the city and I've been there before. And I thought it was really cool and the food was really good. So I'd probably live there just because all of like everything behind it.
Awesome. Second question, what motivates you to hard work?
The thing that motivates me to work really hard, especially in school, is that my grandma has dementia and I promised her before she got bad that I would try and work my hardest and go as far as I can and get all A's and kind of just go really far. So that'd probably be it.
Good. And your third question is, what is your favorite thing about 4-H?
My favorite thing about 4-H is all of the people you meet and all the friends that you make. And not only that, just what you learn, that you wouldn't normally learn in school. And it's everything you learn can take you even farther in life. So.
Next up is Ibot Agbor Sangaya from Hall County. And Ibot, your first question is, what is something you are passionate about?
Something I happen to be passionate about is music. You see, to me, music is like a way to like escape like this like world, like the way like chords work, the way like these songs are structured. It's like, it's so good. Like, I just can't put into words how much music means to me.
Awesome. Ibot, your next question is, what is your favorite ice cream flavor?
See, I was going back and forth on this. At first, I was like Neapolitan because it's 3 flavors in one. But then I was like chocolate, but that's kind of plain, it's chocolate. So my favorite ice cream flavor is probably cookies. What is it? Chocolate chips and cookies, that flavor. Cause like it's vanilla, right? But it's vanilla with like extra steps. You have like cookie crumbles, you have like chocolate chips in there. So it's like, it kind of makes like this nice super dessert almost. And I think it's pretty great.
For sure, awesome. Ibot, your final question is, what is your favorite fast food chain?
My favorite fast food chain is definitely McDonald's. Now, you see, while Wendy's has the 4 for $4, and the 4 for $4 is like iconic, great, amazing. And you have places like Zaxby's who have like some of the best chicken ever. Not Walmart. McDonald's has everything you could ever want at like a really cheap price. Also, there is no bad thing on McDonald's menu, and it's great. And I don't think I have to explain how great McDonald's Sprite is. So without a doubt, McDonald's is my favorite fast food chain.
Awesome. Thank you, Ibot.
Up next, we have Tiffany McLean from Jasper County. And Tiffany, your first question is, what motivates you to work hard?
Well, what motivates me to work hard mostly is my family. Both my parents have graduated college, my dad with his doctorate degree and my mom with her bachelor's degree. And graduating is very big in my family, and education is taken very seriously. So they always push me to do the best that I can and to work for my goals. And also, I come from a really small town and I have really big goals that I've set for myself. So I work really hard to get out of here and to achieve those goals.
Great answer. Your next question is, what was the last thing you recorded on TV?
Well, last thing I recorded, it was the series finale of my favorite show, the CBS reboot of MacGyver with Lucas Till. And I haven't caught up yet, so I haven't watched it, but it's waiting for me.
Awesome. And your final question, Tiffany, is what is your favorite family holiday tradition?
So on Christmas, everyone in my family, there's 6 of us. So we all pick a song on Christmas morning and we get up in front of everybody and we perform it and sing it the best we can. And everyone has to guess the song and we vote on who did the best rendition of whatever song they chose. So it's really fun.
Yeah, it sounds like it. Thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Leah Shapiro from Oconee County. And your first question is, what is your favorite thing about 4-H?
My favorite thing about 4-H would definitely have to be camp. I love everything about camp. I'm a very spirited person, so I like getting all into the cheers, and I love the high ropes, canoeing, and the pool. I just love everything about camp. I think one of the best parts is like that nice cold shower you take after the pageant. It just hits so good. And I would just have to say camp. It's probably the best part.
All right, your next question is, what is your go-to guilty pleasure?
Okay, so one of my favorite things to do is to jump on my trampoline. And we've always had a trampoline in our backyard, and it's always kind of sat there, and I really didn't like rediscover it until quarantine last year. And I would like go on my trampoline for 2 hours like every day. And I still go on my trampoline a lot now because it helps me like work on tumbling stuff for cheerleading, and it helps me clear my mind. I just love jumping on my trampoline. It's so much fun.
All right, and your final question is, how would your friends describe you?
My friends would definitely describe me as funny. I like to think I'm a really funny person. And yeah, they definitely just say I'm funny and that I'm a good listener and I care a lot. I care a lot about my friends. So yeah.
All right, good job, Leah.
Up next, we have Robby Lucas from Oconee County. And Robby, your first question is, what did you want to be when you were small?
When I was small, I really loved to cook and couldn't even reach over the counter. I would be so I wanted to be a chef and own a restaurant. But as I grew older, I began to realize like the weird hours that takes. And I also began to lean more toward like baking and cooking pastries and stuff more. So baking has really just become a hobby of mine now. And I don't as much want to be a chef as when I was little, but cooking is always something that I think I'm really going to love.
Yeah, well, cooking holds a big place in my heart too. So your next question is, what is your favorite television show?
My favorite television show is Gilmore Girls. And I think it's just because I find it very relatable. I mean, one of the characters, Rory, really loves to read, and reading's also a passion of mine. They also all love old movies and old music. And there's a bunch of old pop culture references, and I'm really interested in those. And I mean, like my friends always say I was like born in the wrong time period. But more than any of those, I think it's their coffee addiction. I myself have a huge caffeine addiction. I will drink coffee sweet, but it doesn't even have to have anything in it. I'll drink it straight black just to get that caffeine fix in the morning. I love coffee so much.
Awesome. And your final question is, have you ever had a nickname? And if so, what is it?
Okay, so I don't know if you'd consider it a nickname, but my name is Robby, which is really similar to Robby. So I'm often called Robby so much where I'll just like answer to it in a crowd. I mean, when you're reading it, it comes across as Robby. So I kind of like consider that a nickname of mine. I mean, it's better just to like do that than like get offended when someone calls me by the wrong name. Because I mean, my name's so weird. You can't really expect much out of anyone from that. But yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you, Robby.
Up next, we have Lauren Hicks from Jasper County. Lauren, your first question is, what makes you laugh the most?
Literally anything makes me laugh. I could look at you and you be making a funny face and I would die laughing. I love dad jokes or like corny jokes. If I look across the room, you could probably even be doing absolutely nothing and I would still laugh my head off. So everything makes me laugh.
That's great. Your second question is, what are your hobbies?
Outside of 4-H, I am a wrestling manager for my high school, which I get to clean mats, wash singlets, and take score during matches. I'm the host of blood drive coordinator at my school, which is the healthcare organization, since I'm training to be a CNA or certified nursing assistant. And my favorite hobby has to be crafting. I made this shirt for my campaign. I made my poster. I love to make jewelry. I paint shoes. I sew. I've tried knitting and crocheting. Wasn't really for me. And I've even gotten into wood burning. So crafting is my favorite hobby.
Very cool. And your third question is, what is your favorite childhood memory?
So growing up, I grew up in a neighborhood and my best friends lived on each side of my house, and a couple doors down lived another best friend. Well, one day our brothers were playing outside and they decided it would be a good idea to take a wagon down the hill across the street and then take it across the street and jump it over the curb. So my brother gets in the wagon and goes down the hill, crosses the street, and they forget to put a ramp on the curb to jump. So he runs into the curb and the wagon flips over and he flies out, and all of my friends are like rolling on the ground laughing so hard at him. He ended up hurting his wrist, but he's okay in the end. He's all right.